Thanks for watching the replay. So, good afternoon, Periscopers. I am broadcasting to you from Illinois, Glenview, Illinois to be specific. And before we get started, I just wanted to say that I am broadcasting using a TW broadcaster, which I won a few weeks ago with a contest that Archon Mounts and Terry White put together. The photo you see on my screen is one of the first pictures that I took when I went on safari. Anybody been on safari? That's really one of the coolest experiences I think you could ever have. And I was really excited to start shooting, and this photo was taken in the outside of the Okavango Delta in Botswana. And when you're on safari, you don't get to choose your lighting. And a lot of times, even though you start out in the beginning, you know, at sunrise and start or in the evening, many of this game drives will take place in full sunlight, and there's lots of animals and things around that you want to take pictures of, but as you all know, full sunlight is not the greatest thing in the world. But Lightroom gives you a lot of opportunities to do some things that you can make a, you know, kind of a crummy looking photo into something that's halfway decent. So I'll wait for a couple of more people to get started here. It's hard for me to turn the camera around because it's in the mount, and I think let's see if I do this, turn around. There I am, but it's in a mount, so that looks like not so good. So I'm back to my screen. So here we have a photo that I took from a vehicle that they picked us up at this little airstrip, and it was about 1 in the afternoon, and I had my camera out, and this is one of the first things I saw when we were driving on the way to the camp. This is a reed buck, which hence the fact that it's standing in the reeds. So the first thing you can see is that I was riding in a vehicle, we weren't stopped, and it was not straight. So I'm going to go to the crop tool and select the angle, draw a line to straighten this out so we've got a straight horizon here. I'm going to double click, and now it's at least straight. But you can also notice that it's really kind of flat and muddy looking. So the first thing I'm going to do is set my black point. I'm going to hold down the Option Control and then slide the black slider to the left until I see a little bit of black up in the corner here. Same thing for the white point. You slide it to the right, holding down the control, and you just start to see a little white. All of a sudden, the contrast is increased. But the problem is this photo is very kind of, there's not a lot of distinction, and I want to bring out this animal in the center instead of having all of this white space around it distract my eyes. So I'm going to bump the contrast just a little bit. I'm going to bump the clarity a little bit. Vibrance, a little bit of saturation. But the big thing here is using the control for the graduated neutral density filter right up here on the right. I'm going to preset the exposure to be a little bit on the low side. Start at the top, bring this down like this. Already you can see it's having an impact. So I've darkened this light area up here, and since your eyes always go to the white part of the photograph, or the lightest part of the photograph, we're going to try to focus our eyes towards the center. I'm going to create another one and bring it up from the bottom. So now we're focusing more on, we've darkened the bottom, we've darkened the top. I'm going to close the filters. You can already see that this is starting to come out. Now I think there's still a little bit too much area around here, so I'm going to crop it a little bit tighter. We usually don't like the subject to be dead center in the photograph. So now we've got this going on. The color looks a little bit warm to me right now, not natural, so I'm going to take the temperature and bring it back so that the grass is more green and not so warm, because that's exactly how it looked. This was in August, and there was a lot of, it's more their winter time, so there wasn't a lot of green around. There was a lot of dead plants and dead trees. And now we've got, it's only taken about 10 minutes, and we've got a pretty decent photograph here that started out kind of yucky, as you can see. Bring back there. Another thing I might do at this point is give it a little bit of vignetting, because it's still a little dark, or a little light on the edges. So you give it a little bit of vignetting. It's focusing your eye towards the reed buck there. I'm going to bring up the sharpening a little bit here, and then hold down the Option key and the masking tool, and slide the masking to the right, and that way you only sharpen what you want to sharpen. I still think this foreground might be a little distracting, so I'm going to bring this up a little bit here, a little bit more to the right. Don't be afraid to play around with this and crop as you wish. So now the sky it was completely clear, not a cloud, so we had full sunlight. But there it is. In about 10 minutes, we went from this to this, and it's a pretty decent shot. I don't know that I'd put it in a book, but it was the first shot of my trip, and we had a lot of great shots after this. But just wanted to give you a little bit inside scoop on how to take a shot that you might just throw away or delete, and then use as something to show your friends. So thanks for watching, and hope you share this with others. You can swipe up on Android and swipe to the right on iOS devices to share this scope, and we'll see you